Parshat Temurah. The concept of doing truma, giving a gift to have a place for Hashem, it seems to be strange. Meaning we are sponsoring God. Classic, your wife buys you a gift for your birthday with your credit card. Shkoyach, What's the whole point of the truma? That we are the one sponsoring the Hashem place. So obviously it's nice that we are, recognizing Hashem, but taking our own money and sponsoring for Hashem place to be with us, it's not a big deal. Concerning the fact that by the end of the day, we are selfish. We need a place for Hashem to be with us, so we are donating. There are two different ways. If somebody donates to Shurashim and he never been here, there is a guy, Gil's cousin. He was here once, I think, and he always donates to Shurashim. That shows that he cares. But people who are in a place and they donate, it's part of the place. There is an interest to donate on a place that you are at. So it seems that Hashem took it so special as donating to Beis Hamikdash. And when we're taking care of ourselves by the end of the day, and we need it. And we see that all of the maintenance, everything is Beis Hamikdash. It's a social need. The collection for Beis Hamikdash donation were done collectively. Everybody got to be part of it. So what's so special about the binyan of Beit Hamikdash? When you read the first, second pasuk, it's very strange. If you read it literally, it doesn't go through. Daber el bnei Israel, second pasuk, it's a pasuk base. Veikhu li truma. So bnei Israel should take for me truma. Me'et kol ish asher yinedevenu libo, from any man that his heart will desire. Tikhu et terumati. Take my truma. So let's see, who are the points? Who are we talking over here? Hashem is talking to Moshe. Moshe talked to Bnei Israel. Who's Bnei Israel? Shlomi, okay? Shlomi Bnei Israel. Ophir, it's Moshe Rabbeinu. So Hashem telling Rabbi Ophir, talk to Rabbi Shloime, to give for me Truma. And then the pasuk says, anyone who has a good heart to give Truma, take from him. Who would take from Shlomo? Who's the one who's taking the Truma? Hashem says to Moshe, talk to Bnei Israel and tell them to take from me Truma. Anyone who has a good heart to give Truma, take the Truma. So who's taking over here?
Meaning who's receiving?
Who is receiving?
Hashem's receiving.
Doesn't say. Say, תיקחו את תרומתי.
That's
That's Lishmi. So who is the one who's collecting on behalf of Hashem? Moshe. What it says? Assume to be Moshe. But if you read it, it doesn't say to be Moshe.
No, וידבר השם משה לאמור.
Okay, that's Vaydaber. That's the message that will be said. Hashem said to Moshe,
No,
דבר אל בני ישראל. Talk to Bnei Israel.
At least in English translation, it says, let them take from me. So that can't be Moshe.
Right, it's not Moshe, it's them. That's the translation, it's not Moshe.
So it's Bnei Israel taking for Hashem.
Bnei Israel
And they're
taking
the ones
for
receiving.
Hashem, and they are the one receiving for Hashem. What's going on? Who's taking and who's receiving? The Rashi says, "Me'et kol ish asher yidevenu libo." Anyone who will have a desire, Rashi says, "Leshon nedava ve'u leshon ratzon tov." It's a language of donation with a good will. Goodwill, it's a good will to give. What's the Torah adding? Tell Bnei Israel to take from me Truma. It's an optional, nachon? So whoever wants to give Truma would give Truma. We have an additional criteria. You need to have ratzon tov, a good will. We didn't see anywhere else in the Torah that you need to have a good will. Only at this stage of taking the Truma, he said, they gotta have ratzon tov, a good will. What's the point of anything? Obviously, anybody who gives, he gives, nachon? If you don't have a good will, I'm not taking from you. What's the criteria of a good will in order to give the Truma? Rashi said, the first Rashi says, Veikhu li, they should take for me Truma. What's li? Rashi says, Lishmi, for my name. So it's not for me, God, it's for my name. Sometimes you're uncomfortable getting a gift. It's not for me, it's for my name. This is for Hashem or not for Hashem? This is a gift for Hashem, נכון? ועשו לי מקדש. Rashi said later on, they will build for me a Beit HaMikdash. So that means it is for Hashem. So what is Hashem using a nice word? You take it for my name, not for me. You are taking it for Hashem, and you're supposed to be together with Hashem. Before we go on, there is one more pasuk that I'm bothered. Atzei Shittim, one of the, I think it's cedar wood. Shittim, it's cedar wood.
Acacia.
Acacia, yeah. So
I think it's acacia.
Acacia. So Atzei Shittim means special wood used to build Beis HaMikdash. Where that special wood came from? Yaakov Avinu. Jacob saw in Ruach HaKodesh, he had a prophecy that Bnei Israel will be in the Midbar at the desert, and therefore he planted those trees for us to have. Shkoyach. We have a famous song. Bar Yochai, Atzei Shittim Omedim. Rashi said, the Gemara in Yuma said, what Omdin means? Stands forever. No, they will stand forever. There is why it's so important to have why it's so important to have all of those the Atzei Shittim of Yaakov Avinu. Why it's crucial for the building of Beis HaMikdash, and it seemed that was the main building material, meaning all of the walls of Beit HaMikdash were really, from Yaakov Avinu. What's so important that Yaakov Avinu is the builder, is the one who was thinking to have Ruach HaKodesh. Okay, you're going to have Atzei Shittim. It seems, the way I understood it, you always, that you're not going to have wood in the desert. So Yaakov Avinu made sure, okay, I want to make sure you're going to have wood in the desert. But there is many other ways to have, some of the material were miracles in the desert of Apen. Why it's so important for Moshe Rabbeinu, for Yaakov Avinu, for the Atzei Shittim to establish, to make sure they're going to have it.
Okay, that's a good question. Is it what you said?
Next, there is a famous Gemara that when we build the Beis HaMikdash, Hashem told Moshe Rabbeinu, build the building and then the vessels. Came Moshe Rabbeinu and told Betzalel, first build the vessels and then build the building of Beit HaMikdash. So Betzalel said to Moshe Rabbeinu, the custom of the world, first you build a house and then you bring the furnitures. You don't build the furnitures before the house. So Moshe was amazed. He says, wow, Betzalel, you were by the shade of God. Betzalel Kelaita, what a great advice. So the obvious question, Betzalel was thinking straight, where Moshe was thinking wrong. So nothing to be amazed about Betzalel. Betzalel was right. Obviously, first you build the house, and then you build the vessels. But the hardest, Moshe said first vessels, and then the house. But the hardest question would be, they build the Mishkan, the house, and the vessels. They erect the Mishkan only 11 months after. So everything was in storage, vessels including the Mishkan. So the claim of Betzalel was irrelevant. Betzalel said first you need the house, then you need the vessels. In fact, it wasn't like that. It wasn't at all. They did it all together, meaning they did it first. By the end of the day, everything was in storage 11 months until they erect. So it really doesn't make any difference which one you do first. So why so amazing about Betzalel was saying, oh, Moshe Rabbeinu, you got to do that before. It was a very unbelievable Gemara.
But the furniture lasted longer than the building.
Interesting. Very good point. Very good question. Why?
And does it mean that really they were building the furniture because the building was already up in Shemayim?
Interesting. So I think I have a good answer to your question. What happened? I like it. What happened to the building? Why building stands less than the furnitures? The Gemara brings a very interesting. The Rav was trying to get a shidduch for his son, and by Rabbi Yossi ben Zimra's daughter. So they made an agreement. You're in yeshiva. In 12 years, he's going to marry her. Now go to learn for 12 years. So the Gemara says, they made her go in front of him, the son of Rav. He's like, Daddy.
Daughter of Rav.
Huh?
The daughter of Rav.
The son of Rav. Daughter of Rabbi Yossi ben Zimra, in front of son of Rav. So he said, Daddy, you know what? Maybe 6 years, it's also okay. Okay, the Gemara says, again. Second time, made her pass in front of him. He said, Abba, maybe we should, let's get married now already, instead of waiting. So the Gemara says that Rav saw that his son was embarrassed. He felt uncomfortable, So his father told him, Da'at kuncha yesh becha. You have the da'at of God in you. You have the knowledge of God in you. Why? On Az Yashir, the Torah says, Tevi'emo v'tita'emo be'ar nachaloscha mochen l'shivtecha. First, you're going to bring Am Yisrael to Eretz Israel, and then machon l'shivtecha, a place, then they're going to build Bet HaMikdash. But Hashem changed his mind. And Hashem said on this week, Ve'asu li-mikdash, should create for me a mikdash, and I will dwell among them, v'shachanti betocham. So he said, you're similar to God. It was supposed to be later, and God made it to be earlier. What's the comparison over here, You similar. So, I can understand a change that caused by a guy, you see the girl once, twice, he's like, okay, yalla. But what's changed? God, the change of God, he said, you have the same mind of God. What happened over here? Lastly, it says that why Bet HaMikdash was destroyed. Torah says, Sinat Chinam. If you think about it, we're taking a problem, sometimes you get a punishment and the punishment was wrong. Yeah, because you did something else. But the purpose of Bet HaMikdash is connect to Hashem, nachon? To be part of Hashem, to be with Hashem. Okay, we did Sinat Chinam. Okay, shkoyach. What's that connection to? We have two. We have Ben Adam Lamakom, Ben Adam Lachavero, nachon? Between men and God and between men and people. Clearly, Bet HaMikdash is Ben Adam Lamakom, between us and Hashem. So because we don't act nice to our friends, okay, Hashem says, I'm leaving you. Obviously, it sounds good, but I think there is much more direct connection of Sinat Chinam destroying Beit HaMikdash. So in order to understand the Siyata Dishmaya, I just want to bring up a quick understanding that we spoke about Matan Torah. We asked, when Hashem gave the Torah, what did Hashem give the Torah? Everything in one shot? And then Hashem gave the Torah, He broke it down. If you're giving it in one shot, that means everything is combined together. But there is no point of saying things together. People cannot listen and tolerate. What's the point of Hashem saying all of the 10 commandments at once? It says over there that Bnei Israel came to Matan Torah by giving the Torah Keish Echad, Belev Echad, like one man, one heart. That was the prerequisite of receiving the Torah. So where did he got that special quality? Keish Echad, everybody are all heart together to receive the Torah. So we explained the Torah has two dimensions. One mitzvot in the Torah, it's my obligation to observe the Torah and to do every part of the Torah. The second one we said, we have a concept of arev, which means I am responsible. If my friend didn't hear Avdallah, if Reb Shlomo didn't hear Avdallah, I can do Avdallah for him because I am his guarantor. I'm responsible for him. Pshat is like that. It's not the pshat that I'm if Reb Shlomo didn't hear Avdallah, I am the one who is responsible for him to hear Avdallah. When Hashem gave us the Torah as Keish Echad, one man belev echad, which means that every mitzvah that you do, as if I did. And if you didn't do a mitzvah, as if I didn't do the mitzvah. If I can do Avdallah for Reb Shlomo, you know why? If he didn't do Avdallah, I didn't do Avdallah. If a Jew doesn't keep Shabbat, it's not that I'm trying to make him keep Shabbat, as if I don't keep Shabbat. The pain we see all Gdolei Israel when they saw another Jew not keeping Torah and mitzvot is the pain as if you yourself don't keep Torah and mitzvot. The responsibility that we have toward the other, it's I'm not responsible from you. I am you. I am part of you. You in me and I am you. Both of us are connected together. Therefore, where did we get that quality? Was after the war of Amalek. A war caused people to take care of somebody else. To understand. We see what's going on in Israel. People are dying for us. I was in Yerushalayim this week. Everything looks normal. Now you can't tell that there was any war or anything going on. Mamash klum. The only war you know is by the prices of El Al. They jack up the prices because no other airlines are flying. That's the only way you know that there is a war. There is, by the entrance also you see the pictures of the hostages in the airport. There is no more of a sign. People are going to the war for me in Gaza. They live in Yerushalayim. They don't need to go there. They're giving their life for me. That means they feel that they are me. After the war of Amalek, we got that quality of Keish Echad Belev Echad. Living a life of Torah means that I am you If you something wrong with you, it's my responsibility. But it's not a responsibility as if I didn't do it. If you didn't keep Shabbat, as if I didn't keep it. Don't keep Shabbat, as if we all feel good, especially here. We're doing kiruv, we're doing outreach. Oh wow, we got kids to be. I mean, we should feel good. It's a good thing for life to feel good, so that motivates us to move forward. However, if you think about it, we're not doing anything special. If one of the teenagers doesn't keep Shabbat, and because of us to keep Shabbat, so I didn't keep Shabbat, now I keep Shabbat, okay. I didn't do anything out of my way. I did the basic understanding, basic fundamental of the Torah. Let's go back to the Mishkan. There was a change in Am Yisrael at this point.
So why do we give so much chashivas to people who do?
No, we give chashivut because usually people don't do it. Because it's much hard, it's very hard to understand it. You know, if you understand, go into the mindset, if they don't keep Shabbat, I don't keep Shabbat, you go crazy. I was in the airplane, and the stewardess, they were talking to each other, two girls, and my wife got in conversation with him, and then she brought me to a question, יש להם שאלה לרב. Okay? מה השאלה? It's a question to the rabbi. What's the question to the rabbi? Their cousin, he married a goy, Italian guy. She's supposed to have a baby. And she doesn't want to do brit to the baby. Is that they need to convince her, it's Jewish, her, their cousin, Israeliyot. So they try to convince her that she's a chayavim לעשות brit. If he doesn't do brit, he's not a Jewish person. So when they told me that they married into a goy, I did oi. So my wife told them, you see, meaning when we hear somebody married a goy, it's like one of our bond needs to be taken. I mean, I didn't feel that, to be honest, but that's supposed to be the feeling. One of our bonds being taken away from us. Meaning, a Jew married into a goy. On the side note, I told them that not to tell them that he's not Jewish if he doesn't do bris, because it's incorrect. He's Jewish. But tell them that Judaism is about choice, making the right choice. If you're not going to give him brit, when you want to join Judaism, you will have a problem. You got to be fair to your child to give him ability to make the right choice. You're not deciding for him, but leave the door open when he wants to get back. So going back over here, in Matan Torah, giving the Torah, we change our understanding that I am you and you me. That's a whole different understanding of our approach to Torah. When the Torah says unbelievable. דבר talk to בני ישראל ויקחו לי תרומה, they should take for me תרומה, and מכל איש אשר ידבני לבו תיקחו את תרומתי. You should take my תרומה from anyone who have desire. So who's taken from who? I think it's an unbelievable shot. Me and Reb Shlomo, okay? I am separating material to build Bet HaMikdash for Hashem. And Shlomo is separating material to build Beis HaMikdash for Hashem. You know, who am I separating this material for? Shlomo. And Shlomo is getting material for Beit HaMikdash for who? For me. When I separate tikhu, meaning the first part of Rashi said, take for my name. So who? Bnei Israel take for the name of Hashem. And then tikhu, who takes for me? Bnei Israel takes. Which means we are taking from each other material to build the house for Hashem. That means that I'm paying money so Shlomo can go to Hashem's house. And Shlomo is paying money so I can go to Hashem's house. It's all different than the Mishkan. It's not that Hashem fundraising and he needs anything for him. I'm not paying money for Hashem to communicate with me. I'm paying money for Hashem, for Shlomo, so he can communicate with Hashem. He can be with Hashem together. Therefore, Rashi doesn't say that Moshe Rabbeinu is taken for Bnei Israel. Who built the Mishkan? Kohanim? No. The Mishkan was built by Am Yisrael. Bnei Israel, we are building for each other. We are supporting each other. I need to make sure that my brother can talk to Hashem and can connect to Hashem. So I think it's a all different pshat b'chal understanding in Beit HaMikdash. Hashem doesn't need me. Hashem doesn't need my money. But Hashem needs me for something special. What He needs me for? He wants to see me taking care of my brother, that I need to make sure that my brother will have connection with Hashem. That Hashem cannot do by himself. we'll talk about Bezrat Hashem after Mashiach going to come. Hashem doesn't need us to do it. Hashem will bring the Mikdash from Shamayim. But to here at this stage to create Beit HaMikdash, Hashem cannot do it for us. He needs what?
Do you have a reasoning for that?
Because okay, I'll show you later in a second what's changing. But Hashem needs us to do it for each other. Then Hashem needs me. If Hashem doesn't need my money, he doesn't need my credit card, doesn't need to buy for me, a wife will buy for her husband a birthday gift. Shkoyach. No, that's not the point. Hashem needs things that he cannot do. You're the only one who can do it for Hashem. You bring the material so your friend can be Teva Mikdash. It's the only way. That was a machloket between Moshe Rabbeinu and Betzalel about building the Mishkan. Betzalel understood building the Mishkan means you have to yourself to connect to Hashem. If you need to connect to Hashem, what do? What's more important? How do you connect to Hashem? By the vessels of Hashem. All of the kelim, all of the vessels in Beit HaMikdash, you connect to Hashem. Says Moshe to Betzalel, first build the kelim, the vessels that you guys, Bnei Israel, will connect to Hashem. And then the house. Says Betzalel, no. I'm not doing anything for me. I'm taking care of my friend, which means I need to make sure that my friend will be able to connect to Hashem. The language of the Gemara was you were by the shade of Hashem. What's the shade of a person who does? Betzalel. I make sure that you, through me, you don't have sun. The job of us is to make sure that we don't have, that my friend has a shade. He has what he needs. He said, I'm not providing a place for myself to talk to Hashem. We're providing each one a place for Am Yisrael to talk to Hashem. If you're providing a place to talk to Hashem, it's about the building. Because you create a place for Hashem to host Bnei Israel. If it's me communicating to Hashem, it's not about the place. It's about how do I communicate with the Aron, with the menorah. But if it's me to make sure my friend will connect to Hashem, I'm creating a place for him where we connect to Hashem. Therefore, there are two separate places. The actual building is the place that Bnei Israel are facilitating to each other the connection of Hashem. The vessels are the vessels that we are ourselves connecting to Hashem. So what's more important? Vessels or the place where we connect to Hashem? What we share, what we're giving to each other? Says Betzalel, more important the place that we are giving to each other than the kelim. Therefore, the Beis HaMidrash destroyed because of Sinat Chinam, free hatred. Because if what built Beit HaMikdash is the understanding that I need to take care of my friend to connect to Hashem. But if a person hates his friend, how can he give him a place to connect to Hashem? The hatred of Beis HaMikdash destroy the place that we can connect to Hashem with. He got us to a stage that I don't want my friend to have a place that he can connect to Hashem. So Hashem took over the building. It's a direct. It's not, it's okay. You don't have a good relation with your friend, I'm taking away Beis HaMikdash. No, the fundamental of Beis HaMikdash is taking care of each other. If we didn't take care of each other, then we cannot have Beis HaMikdash.
That's what it means. Yeshua Davenu Libo.
That's why I said, Rashi said, Asher Yidavenu Libo, that your heart will donate. Rashi said, Ratzon Tov, you need to have a good will. When you're taking care of your friend, you got to do it with a good will. Nobody wants to see people taking care of them and they're not excited for it. Rashi said, when they're taking from each other, it's got to be with a good will. I care for you. There is a whole different relationship connecting us to Hashem, knowing that my friend wants me to connect to Hashem. There is something, between Torah and relationship with Hashem. Obviously, there are some battles and machlokot in Am Yisrael between rabbis and more. And when you understand that my connection to Hashem is provided to me by my friend who wants me to connect to Hashem, it's a higher level of connection. It's not just me. All of Am Yisrael wants me to connect to Hashem. But that means if I decided not to connect to Hashem, who am I hurting? Am Yisrael. They provide for me. They facilitate for me that ability. Okay, so what's the story over there? He said that the son of Rav, they brought a girl in front of him once, twice. You are similar to Hashem. What's happened by Hashem that Hashem changed his mind Hashem changed his mind to build Beit HaMikdash. When we came to Har Sinai, we came with a different approach. Keish Echad, בלב אחד. Meaning we came as being one entity. We are taking care of the other fellow. Marriage being addressed, and usually the beginning of it at least, is I'm taking care of myself. It's about me. נכון? I need to learn. I need to have a wife, I need to have life, and people getting married for themselves. That's what marriage is about. But באמת, what's the fundamental of marriage is not for me what to have. If people live their life that I want to have the bigger portion and my wife less, or I'm going to have the better bed and my wife less, they are maybe in a business relationship, but they're not in marriage relationship. Marriage relationship means that I need to make sure that my wife will have everything and she will do well. And if my wife gets upset at me,
What's the opposite?
and I don't answer, that's her problem, not your problem. And when my wife gets upset at me, and and when my wife gets upset at me and I don't respond back, because it's about her. Marriage is about taking care of somebody else. That kuncha yesh b'cha, meaning the following. The original deal was 12 years waiting. Says Rabbi Akiva, says they achlefu kame. They transfer in front of him once, and he said, okay, 6 years. Then again achlefu kame, one more time, another. He said, okay, let's get married right away. So it really bothers me. If you see that you brought him in front of her, you brought her in front of her, the son of Rav. So if she went in front of him once and he wants to reduce it, why do you bring her again? The original deal was 12 months, נכון? Why they brought it in front of him again? Unbelievable, I think. There used to be that you need to know you have a wife, and then eventually you're getting married. The Torah says, that the Gemara says over there, the end of the story was that he married her immediately, and 12 years after, he came back, and she was akara, איך אומרים? Barren?
Baron.
Still.
Baron.
Baron?
Baron.
הכרה זה ברן.
לא. Sterile? Okay. I want to practice my English. Okay, so 12 years after, he came back, she was barren. Rav said, what's we going to do? If we're going to tell her to divorce her, people are going to say, look what happened to her. She married to him and now she got divorced. If we're going to tell her to marry another woman, they're going to say she's the wife and she's the zona. She's like, the backup. So he dived into Hashem was a miracle, and she was able to give children again. Waiting 12 years for her, putting her at risk.
How would they say that she would be the zona?
Whatever. Waiting 12 years for her, it's putting her at risk. She might not going to be able to have children. When she was in front of him, he was looking at her and understand, I need to make sure she's going to do well. Let me wait. Only 6 years. When Rav saw that he can relate what his wife need, he brought her again. Why? To understand, to make sure if you can relate what your wife need, bring again and relate to her more. Second time you relate to her by understanding, it's better for her to get married early, because after 12 years, you wouldn't be able to marry her at all. That's 12 years. He was embarrassed. It looks like that he cares about himself, that you want to be with her. His father told him, no, I know, you have the mind of God. What's changed by God? When before, we're supposed to receive Bet HaMikdash to have it in Eretz Israel. When he saw us taking care of each other, Hashem says, let's have the Bet HaMikdash today. He said, you have the mind of God. You look at your wife and you want to take care of her. That's mind of God. Therefore, you can marry her. You should have married her right away. Don't be uncomfortable. Mind of God of marriage doesn't mean like the desire of the marriage. It's the opposite. Taking care of somebody else in marriage. Knowing what's good for her. That's the important one. That's what's define the true marriage. Which means that in a practical level, the life that we are living at, anything relate to have somebody else in Torah, anything we do for Torah, we need to have a mindset, it's for somebody else, it's not for me. We donate tzedakah, whatever in shusul, whatever we support, whatever we do, it's a responsibility that another Jew will connect to Hashem. Today our Bet Mikdash is, it's called Bet Mikdash Me'at, huh?
Pushka?
Huh? No, it's better wild bank account. Pushka, it's too little money. Our Bet Mikdash is a shul. This is where people connect to Hashem. And we need to understand, when we donate to a shul, it's not, I always felt, I'm using a place, I need to donate. It's not about me using. It's about, I need to make sure that my friends can use the shul. I'm not donating for myself. That's a selfish, even though it's nice, don't worry. We've done it to a shul,
You still take it.
Huh?
You still take it.
Even though it's nice, obviously we've spoken, anybody who goes to a shul, you gotta give money to go to a shul. Whatever you are, kollel guy, whatever it is, you're using a place. You gotta have basic hakarat hatov, You go to kollel boker, nachon, they have the iPhone, $5, you can have the, you have responsibility. You use a place, give money. I think, need you, they don't need you. It's understanding. You go to Young Israel, it seems to do well, but you're using a place. So always understood that it's about hakarat hatov, but now I have a different understanding. It's not about hakarat hatov. I got to be a provider for my fellow Jew. I need to make sure that every Jew has a place to daven. So I'm not giving donations for myself. I'm giving donations for my fellow Jew. And if you can stroke that into our day-to-day learning, our responsibility for anybody else, it's all about him. It's not about me. So he can come closer to Hashem. A good friend of mine, very good friend of mine, his best friend, I know him well. He used to live in Miami Beach. He committed suicide. Why? He had depressions and difficult time emotionally, very difficult years. And his friends were there to take care of him, to support him. And he told his friend the following, he said, "You don't care about me." He said, "Why?" He said, "You know why you're coming here to visit me? Because you feel guilty that you don't visit your friend. So you come here to visit me." That's so messed up. But in a way, if you think, he's right. Most of the good action we do is because of the good feeling we get out of it. It's not really for the sake of my friend. It's not really for him. You go to a Shiva house. Why you go? Either because you don't want him to think why he didn't show up. And second, you want to feel good that you did what you have to do. But how many times we go to Shiva house to make sure the person will feel better? I was in my in-laws last week. My wife was sitting Shiva. Her father passed away. And you see unbelievable people who don't know the family at all. They came to the Shiva to talk about him. That's a Jew. People who didn't know him at all, and they're sending letters, how we impact their life, what did he do to them. That's the highlight of a Jew. I'm not going to a Shiva house to check off, okay, I was there. There is a book on funeral in America. I was there. I apologize, as most of my attendant in events is to make a checkup. Because, people really cares about others. They don't know the family, they don't know anybody. They're coming over there to make another person feel good. That's an identity of a Jew. It's not about me. Making somebody else think that somebody else can do better, can get closer to Hashem, can feel better about himself. That's how we create the Bet HaMikdash now. We have no Bet HaMikdash. The only way we create Bet HaMikdash, to enable others to connect to Hashem in their way, in their place.
Jacob.